Welcome to NDF's 2021 Virtual Speaker Series, generously sponsored this year by the Rotary Club of Beverly Hills. I'm Nancy Lurie, NDF's Chief Operating Officer, and I'm so glad to welcome you here with us today. Today's presentation is a collaborative one that's taken the effort of many people. My job today is just to introduce our moderator, Mona Patel, and after I do that, I'll let her take it from there. Mona has been an NDF Certified Patient Advocate since the inception of our CPA program. She's been our partner in many endeavors, including organizing a very successful patient day with us in Manchester just 3 years ago. Mona works for the Manchester Metropolitan University as an equality and diversity specialist and is a devoted wife, daughter, friend, and mother to lovely Leah, one of our chairs of our NDF United Youth Group. Mona's always among the first to step up to help us with anything we need, including the planning of today's event. Mona, I will leave it to you to introduce today's amazing panel.
Oh, thank you. Firstly, let me express my thanks to colleagues like yourself at the NDF for giving us this patient panel event today and for inviting me to moderate it. I hope I can do it justice. And thank you everyone who has made time today to attend. We all are very aware of how it is to live with an ever-evolving disability that affects every part of our daily life and how it can impact those around us too. So when I was diagnosed with GNE Myopathy nearly 20 years ago, I felt so confused and isolated and lost, and I wish that I'd had this type of support back then. So when Tara came up with this idea, I thought, this is brilliant, we need to do this. So today we have this amazing patient panel on Ask Us Anything, where through questions and answers, we'll offer support to you. Now, our panelists will do this by sharing their knowledge and advice through their own lived experiences. And ultimately, we hope to assist each other in managing the quality of our lives. So let's first go to the panel now, who will briefly introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their background. I'm going to start with Maya.
Hi, my name is Maya. I live in Jerusalem, Israel. I am 41 years old and I was diagnosed with GNE Myopathy before 10 years.
Thanks, Maya. Roberta?
Hi, my name is Roberta. I'm from Turkey, Istanbul. I was diagnosed 14 years ago and I'm 38 years old.
Thank you. Sabeen?
Hi, I'm Sabeen Faisal, currently in my 40s. I'm an MBA, a business owner, a content writer expert, and apart from NDF Advocate based in Karachi, Pakistan. I was diagnosed in year 1999 and I was 22 years old then.
Thanks, Sabeen. Sean?
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm 45. I'm from the United States. I've had GNE myopathy for over 20 years.
Thank you, Sean. Suleiman?
Yes, hi, my name is Suleiman. I am 44 years old. I am from Turkey. I have been suffering from myopathy for 16 years, but I got the definitive diagnosis before 4 years, and I have another sibling with GNE myopathy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And last but not least, Bellini.
Hi everyone, my name is Bellini Gorsine. I live in England. My parents are from Trinidad. I'm 37 years old. I'm a primary school teacher and I was diagnosed with GNE myopathy in 2010.
Thank you very much, panelists. So this slide just sets out our goals for the event. We are a global community and therefore we intend to get to know you all a bit better and hopefully we can form some long-lasting connections and maybe even some friendships. We wish to also offer you patient-to-patient support by sharing knowledge and practical advice through our lived experiences. We will assist each other in managing the quality of our lives, and maybe we'll also learn something new along the way. And lastly, through discussions with you, we may also be able to identify any gaps in resources and support for patients and care partners too. I'm just going to pause the slides here at this point and just go through a little bit of housekeeping before we start the question and answer session. I just have a few matters to remind you about, just so that you can all enjoy the event comfortably. Our questions are based on our personal experiences and observations. It's not to be taken as medical advice, and nor are our responses from the Neuromuscular Disease Foundation. They are based on our own experiences. Okay, so I hope that sounds good. If so, I'm going to open up the floor. I give you all an opportunity to ask specific questions that you've been thinking about to help you navigate living with a rare disease. Has anyone got a question?
Yeah, I'm interested. I walk at the minute with a stick, and I'm keen to continue to walk as long as I can, but I'm finding it increasingly difficult. And I'm wondering what you would advise would be the next step. Should I start using a walker, or should I go straight to using a mobility scooter or a wheelchair? What in people's experience has been the next step after walking with, I've got AFOs and I have a walking stick. So what should I try next?
Thanks, Margaret. So what I'm hearing there is that you want to find out a little bit more about adaptations to keep you mobile. So yeah. I'm thinking here, maybe if Sean would like to come in. Sean, do you have any tips as one of our wheelchair users on the panel?
Are you familiar with bilateral AFOs? Those are braces.
Yes. Yeah, I wear those.
Those are the best. Oh, you do wear those? So you're, okay, so you're looking at the next stage after that. Keep using those. It's also a mental thing, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to fold too quick. The next thing would, yes, do a scooter, do a chair. You know, it doesn't have to be a four-wheel scooter, but a chair. If you can walk in the store, that's great. But if you're going to a park, say with some friends and family, and you know that you're going to be walking about for a while, then a chair is probably the best because you don't want to fall.
No. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, safety is key. Thank you, Sean. Has anybody else got a question? Hi, Bina. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Thing is, it's been about 10 years now since I can't climb stairs, or I've stopped driving the car, a normal automatic car. And like last year I had surgery, hysterectomy. So in and out of bed, getting out is just impossible. The family have to help me to sit up. And I've got another surgery I could get done, which is near the belly area again. And I mean, I've seen like there are beds and stuff available, but it's very, I'm not sure how good they are. Does anybody use those elevation beds? You know, where the back comes up, but then I can't swing my legs down or do anything. You know, I can just about walk with a rollator now, but not outside without help, because I tend to fall quite a lot. And it's quite daunting, the upcoming surgery, because I already had one surgery where they had to, for 4 months, help to sit me up, and I've got another one coming up again. Right. And it's kind of worrying in a way, because if they don't help me sit up, then the operation's of no use, because they'll just open up again the stitches, because it's near the belly button area, which is our core muscle strength we use to stand up. And I haven't had much help, because I've been under this problem since 1999, and I was only confirmed diagnosed in 2018, this GNE. So I've been under the assumption of mitochondrial myopathy for a long time, and my hospital just was not listening to me in London. And they will stop my coenzyme Q10. They've stopped giving me that because I'm no longer under the mitochondrial clinic. Because in GNE clinic, which is, they don't even have a GNE clinic, they have a rare inheritance clinic, and they don't even supply me with that. And those are quite expensive tablets.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Bean, I'll come back to answer that last question of yours. But in terms of your first question around adjustable bed, you know, I'm thinking, I know, Sean, you use an adjustable bed, do you? Or Tara, maybe if somebody wants to come in and give any of their own experiences of using any pressure cushions or adaptive bed to make sure that we can protect our core area, right?
Mona?
Yeah, Roberta, you want to ask?
I'm using that.
Brilliant. Roberta, you answer this one then.
Yeah, I'm using that bed. It's like the hospital beds. You can bend the back side and the front side. It can be sometimes useful, but because I am small, when you bend it, it comes into my neck, and you have to pull me sometimes. Someone has to pull me back, and
Yeah.
then I have to sit. Sometimes it is useful when my mom helps me. She cannot hold my back and my legs in multitask, and that's why it can be helpful for yourself not to fall down onto the bed. It becomes like a chair. You
Yeah.
can sit, or armchair. It has the that safety, and
Yeah.
I think it can be useful for that.
Yeah, because after the surgery for a week, I just used the recliner chair because that would help
Yeah.
me to sit up, but you can't sleep in there forever.
No, you can't. No,
Yeah. But,
I
yeah, thank you
tried it.
very
No,
much.
you can't.
Anyway,
Maybe
no,
you can adjust the back.
yeah,
Maybe for a little time.
yeah. Because in the hospital, in the beds, you just keep on sliding down because I'm quite short also. So you just
Yeah,
end up sliding down and you can't pull yourself up because you don't have the strength in your arms.
yeah. Same here. I always ask my mom to
Yeah.
come and have many pillows under
Yeah.
my arms, under my legs, everywhere. And in the hot weather, it becomes very stressful.
Yeah.
But we have to arrange things. Sometimes it is useful.
Yeah. The other thing, I don't know if any of you find that when you've been given the diagnosis, it is very daunting and depressing because you've been diagnosed with one thing for 20 years and then suddenly you're thrown into this where the diagnosis and the prognosis and the journey you're going to have is so different and you get frightened of it.
Yeah, you have to adjust yourself too.
Yeah.
So what I think that question, thank you, Roberta, for answering the question around the bed. We could give you some more guidance and advice about that after the event as well. So don't worry, Bina. And just very quickly about your question in relation to Q10, we had our doctor from the NDF, it's Dr. No, sorry, not NDF, Dr. Taseen Muzaffar, who's Professor of Neurology and Pathology at the Division of Neuromuscular Disorders at the University of California, USA, answer that question for you. And he said that there is no proven benefit for Q10, also known as coenzyme Q10. It is primarily used in conditions where there is an oxidative or mitochondrial defect. It is a benign supplement and probably very little harm in taking it. In the US, insurances do not pay for it, so it is used over the counter and bought from the pharmacy or nutritional store. And I think you're in the UK, and I think the same applies in the UK, so I'll pop that in the chat. But I'm going to move on to Anna, who's had her hand up for a while, and we will come back to your question about feeling low, if that's okay, Bina. Okay, Anna, you've got a question.
Hi.
Hi, Anna.
Hi there. I was diagnosed with GNE in 2019. And I do have a couple of questions. How do I know if I'm working too hard on my physical therapy exercises? I know that we're not supposed to be sore the next day, but almost my physical therapist, my family doctors, no one has ever heard of GNE. So I just kind of feel like I'm teaching them the little that I know about GNE. So I guess I'm just wondering, how do I know what is too much?
That's a really good question. I'm going to direct this one to Suleiman. And Roberta, if you want to help Suleiman with any translation, of course, is
yeah, I'm ready.
Thank you. I think it's a very good question, Anna. If you get tired, it is much more. It means much more. And I think there is a good video which NIH physiotherapy department has. I think you can find also in NDF's video links, and it can be very useful for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I was at NIH actually right before COVID hit. I was part of the all natural trial up there, and I actually met Dr. Carrillo. I don't think I'm saying her name correctly, but she was my doctor up there before she took another position. I'm supposed to be a part of the manic drug trial here coming up. And my other question was, do they wait until the last minute to call us to come up there? I know that I'm on the list. I have talked to my nurse practitioner within the last 2 weeks. And I'm also on the GNE Facebook support page. And I saw that it's supposed to be around August 15th, the drug trials at NIH in Maryland. And I'm just wondering, she was only able to tell me that it's going to be in August. And I mean, it's, about 2 weeks away is the 15th. So I'm just wondering, do they just call me last minute? And, how long do they keep me? Where do I stay? Just stuff like that.
Thank you again. That's a really good question. Does anyone want to take this one who's been on the trial and maybe could help with logistics? Or I'm happy to input here. Tara, you want to come in at all? Is Tara gone? Hi, Tara.
Oh, no, I'm here.
Sorry.
So,
You've been on the trial, right?
I've been on the sialic acid trial and the natural history trial. I've been part of the planning committee for the NIH. And there's a disclaimer, I can't, divulge a lot of information, but whatever's on the NIH, the clinicaltrials.gov website, the clinic nearest to you, those are the ones you need to contact. If you're outside the country, international patients, they should contact NIH in Bethesda, Maryland. I know we're trying to get someone from the NIH to address our patient community soon, and as soon as Nancy is able to get a commitment from them, we're going to post it so everyone could see it. The estimated date for it's not, the trial per se is not going to exactly start on August 15th. When you go, if they call you for August 15th, it's going to be, they're going to screen you, they're going to evaluate you. Do you have underlying conditions? They're going to do some testing before you get admitted into the trial. Does that make sense?
Yes, I've actually, I've already gone through all that. Yeah, I was up there and, I was up there for about a week. And I mean, I did all of those things. I've been in contact with Andrea Bowling in the last 2 weeks. And, my understanding that was the next step was I get a call and I'll fly up there and, be part of the manic trial, whether, I know that I turned into a number, so I didn't get to say whether I get the placebo or the manic drug, but I was just, I was just wondering, like, how long do I wait, to call her back? Because I don't want to bother her. I know that the 15th, I understand that it won't be exactly on the 15th, but she said like around the 15th. So I'm just kind of wondering that's pretty soon. So I just haven't got a call to fly up there or anything. And I wasn't sure if, I don't know.
Yeah. With the COVID-19 and the Delta variant, it may, cause some delay. I'm not sure. I'm just speaking, without additional information. So I don't know if, I would say keep in contact with her.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Tara.
Mona, Mona,
yeah, sure.
Could I add to the her question regarding her exercising and pushing her limit?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I used to train with semi-pro bodybuilders, ironically, and so I continued to exercise after I found out that there was something going on with me. I was doing the push, go, 15-second breaks between sets and power sets and supersets and whatnot. And I come to find out that if you push yourself, That's not good. You want to go really light. The lighter, you know, you'll find out over time what's right for you. If you start to feel that burn, that's enough. The burn is good if you're not in a neuromuscular disease situation, but we are. So we want to go really light before the burn. You overwork your muscles, then they don't have time they won't have a chance to rebuild. They rebuild at night. You want to take your protein at night, get a good enough amount of sleep, and you'll be okay.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you. So, and shall we go back to Bina's question? Which is a really good question. How do we, you know, remain hopeful when we are waiting for a cure or a treatment, you know, and it is really difficult sometimes to stay upbeat about these things. So I'm going to go to two people on the panel here. Firstly, I'm going to ask Bellini to talk about ways that she stays upbeat and looks after her well-being in order to kind of eliminate any kinds of obstacles when it comes to you know, everyday living. How do you de-stress, Bellini? Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm unmuted. Well, what I do to distress and to look after my mental health, I've started meditating, and I highly recommend Deepak Chopra. It's really hard to get into the meditation because your mind is elsewhere and you're thinking about different things. And but really, meditating now, I've realised it allows me to centre my thoughts, just to feel calm and refreshed. Another thing I do is I read motivational books. I speak with family and friends who uplift me. And also, I love cooking. One might think, oh, cooking, I don't know how to do that. It's all about the preparation. Once you prepare everything, it could be relaxing and you enjoy it and you know what you want to do. And I come from a culture of cooking and things like that. So for me, even though there's physical obstacles in the way, the more I prepare myself, the more I can enjoy it. And also, I'm not too shy of enjoying a little Netflix movie. I indulge in that. That helps me to relax, and, you know, recommendations from friends and family. Just, you know, little things like that.
Brilliant. That's great. I'm going to go to Suleiman next. Suleiman, you have this piggy bank. I love this piggy bank idea that you have. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Now, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, Mona. Well, I think sometimes like this. Okay, we have muscle disease, but we still hear, see, speak, and have dialogues with others. So we are still living. And my main aim and my motto in this life is trying to catch and collect the happy moments, not happy hours, days or years, but only happy moments. And I try to feel happy and smile in every condition. And of course, when I was healthier, more healthy, I could do more activities. Now I have more sedentary life, but still I can find many things to smile. For example, I like watching football or in soccer, reading books and helping other muscular disease patients in my country. And I think I have optimistic personality, and I really appreciate to God for this. So that's the piggy bank was about this. I collect the happy moments. I am not waiting some things to happen in the near future. I am only collecting the moments.
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. I love all of that. Does that help, Bina, in just some ideas and everybody else? I think, you know, it's really important that we focus on what we can still do.
I mean, generally I'm okay mentally. It's just the future, because obviously you need assistance, and it's really hard in this country, I'm finding, to get that. And also, like, you know, the other lady was saying, like, I love cooking too, but it just drains me so much. And standing in the kitchen, even it's hard to use the purging stool. I do all preps and everything. I mean, I've had occupational therapists help me, but it's just very tiring, everything. You know, you just can only do little. It's so tiring physically. You know, forget the mentally, but physically, yeah. But anyway, I mean, the family help as much as they can. So, but that what he's saying about picking happy moments and enjoying those little moments, that I will try to do. Yes.
Yeah, it's really important, and not to, you know, put too much pressure on yourself to still keep doing what you maybe 20 years ago you mentally you feel you could do. But please reach out to the professionals if you need to as well. The NDF have a social worker who can help you and support you with any feelings of depression. And even if you're just feeling low, stressed, anxiety, please reach out to Carol. She's absolutely brilliant. She's so approachable. I've had a session with her. There's no shame in reaching out to people. You know, get the help where you can, and Carol is brilliant. So I've put some information in the chat, and I can see Tara has also kindly put a link in there. So thanks, Tara. I was just going to say, does anybody have any questions? Any more questions? Or I can read out. Oh, Harmony, is that, were you waving your hand? Yeah. Hi, great to see you. Hello.
Okay. So I have a question, kind of piggybacking off of the session a few weeks ago from Tara, that you talked about a folding ramp that you use sometimes to go visit families. I have a trip coming up where the house that we're renting has like 3 steps in the front. Just to kind of give everyone where I'm at, I use AFOs, I use a rollator. I just got a mobile scooter to use kind of if I'm walking further distances. But what I'm trying to figure out is I have 3 steps in the front of my home currently. And right now I can get up them with my husband's help. But I'm not sure about using a ramp with the rollator, because I do know that if I have any time, there's, as you guys probably know, inclines. It's kind of harder to walk on incline. I don't know if I should try to get a ramp for that, and just see what you guys have done with that kind of situation where there's maybe 3 or 4 steps that you're trying to get up, if a ramp's better, or you try to navigate the stairs with help.
Thanks, Harmony. Has any of our panelists, Sabeen, Roberta, or Maya, have any of you used ramps? Do one of you want to take that question? Or how have you navigated stairs?
I want to have the answer, because I have the same problem right now and I don't know what to do.
Okay, so yours is a question.
I
Okay.
do have a suggestion. I do have the same problem, but I do have a solution and a suggestion. Maybe it can work for somebody. Even if you are having a ramp with your 2-3 stairs, I think I would suggest that do have the side rails to hold and grab on something. Maybe it can give a little support as well, so that you don't trip back and fall backwards. And secondly, do stay safe and have somebody around you while you are walking on the ramp. I would suggest that do not walk alone on the ramp at this stage if you are unable to climb up the stairs. I think there should be somebody besides you. That would be safer.
Thank you, Sabeen.
I want to add a few things.
Sure, Maya, go for it.
Okay. I think it really depends on which situation you are, because I'm walking with AFOs or with Dictus, and I don't use a rollator or scooter or things with the wheels. But I find it very, very hard to climb stairs, and I'm living on the 3rd floor, so I have like 40 stairs each day to go home and then to go down. And then it's really hard. But if there is no rail that I can hold, I can't climb the stairs. So in those situations, I need help. So I ask my child or my people around me to hold them. it took me a lot of time it's really frustrating to ask someone for help, but I prefer to do that instead of taking a risk that I will fall down. So I think it's a physical problem and the mental too, because it's really hard for us to ask for help. We are thinking that we can do anything, and our situation are not allowed us to do that. So all the time I think, what will happen if I will not ask? And it will be worse. So I'm all the time asking people for help if I don't know if I can do the things. So it's a really complicated situation.
Mona, can I add to that as well?
Yes, Felini, please do.
Harmony, it's just, was it just 3 steps that you're going up?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're with the rollator.
Yeah. So right now at my house, if I have the rollator, my husband actually has to move it off through the stairs, and then I'll just hold on to him with one arm and then onto the handrail with the other to get up those 3 steps. But when I'm going somewhere else, I don't actually know. They say there's a few steps to get into the home, but yeah, I don't know if they're really large steps. I know if there's something that's a little bit more deep, I have a hard time even, to swing my leg just to get it up over the step. You know how sometimes your foot gets stuck under the step.
Yeah.
So that's the part I'm kind of unsure of where I'm getting into, in a couple
I
of weeks.
know, and it's really worrying. What I would suggest, I use the rollator now to go to work, and it lives in my car. And if it's up a steeper part, what I would do is, you can press the brakes down so it's fully locked. I would literally keep it on that, move it a bit upwards, move one foot, then use that to brace myself. On other times, what I will do if I'm going up 3 steps, is best if you've got handrails, like Sabeen had suggested, handrails at either side of you. If your husband could go, while you're holding onto the handrails, if your husband can just lift 1 foot at a time up, however steep the step is that you're anticipating, then you can just get in there really quickly. It's just 3 steps, you can do it.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it seems like it would be easier than the ramp. And that's what I was going to ask, kind of a follow-up to what Maya was saying. When you have someone help you, do you guys have that? Like, I think what you just answered the question is kind of help you move your leg up. And that's probably the best way for someone to help you up a stair, is to kind of move your leg for you.
If you're holding on, get him to stand behind you, and he'll lift 1 foot by your ankle, one up, then you've got your grip, the next left, right, then you're up 3 steps, done.
Perfect. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Thanks, everyone. And just to add, we've got to try and make sure wherever we do, we future-proof where possible, right? Because this is all good in the short term, but be safe, guys, and where your governments and authorities allow, maybe think about adaptations to your home if possible. I know it's not easy wherever you live, but be safe. Now, I'm going to move on to another theme. Anna, is that a legacy hand or is that a question? You've got your hand up. Is that from previously? Okay, don't worry then. I'm gonna change the topic slightly, because we've had a question around, having a family and genetic testing. There's kind of qualms about people thinking, well, if I have a baby, will my child have it? Or if I have a child, how do I test if that child has GNE myopathy? So I'm going to go over to Suleiman, if possible. And Suleiman, do you want to? Oh, sorry, no, I was going to go to Maya. I apologize, about genetics. So Maya, you want to talk about the probability of, a child carrying the gene or having been symptomatic, and tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, so genetics is, our disease is a recessive one. So if one of the parents have the disease, for sure he will transfer the gene with the mutation for his kid, but the kid has to have the both mutation from both parents. So if your husband or is not carrying the gene, the child will be a carrier and he will not have any symptoms and he will not be affected with the disease. But it's really, really important to monitor after when your child will be married and will have a kids. The best things to stop the disease is all the time to be monitored. So if you are a patient, your child is for sure carrier. There is nothing to check. The things that you want to check that if he is affected. And then you're not need to test the child, you need to test the father or the mother of the child that is not affected. If he is a carrier, there is a chance that the child will be affected. It's 50% because you are affected. And when your child will want to be married, there is a chance that of 50% that he will transfer the mutation for his kid, but it really depends what the other parents have. So we can have most of our families are carrier and they have they will not have any symptoms and they will not be affected with the disease. It's just you need to transfer the data and to know that when someone wants to have a baby, he needs to do the testing in order to be sure that the baby will not be affected. But if you are affected, nothing will happen to the child unless your husband is not affected or not a carrier. That's what you need to test, not the kid for now.
So does that answer, Bina, does that answer your query about, you said your doctor refused your daughter from being tested?
Recently he refused to, he said that you don't need to be tested. I mean, they don't know much about obviously GNE, but yeah, I understand what Maya said. So yeah, if we want to go down the route, then maybe we can test if my husband's a carrier, then we would know, because I've got 2 children, but one of them is interested in no. So yeah, so that's helpful. Thank you very much.
How old are your children?
My son's 13, my daughter's 27. It's my daughter who feels who wants to know, because one of the symptoms with her eye, she's got same as me, like, the slow opening of the lid of the eye. So hence, and the other question, for the is it Harmony? I've got stairs to come upstairs, like just ground floor, first floor in my house. And initially, when I stopped doing the stairs, my family used to lift one leg on the stairs, and I would pull myself up. But it can get very dangerous when it's a flight of stairs. 3 stairs is fine, 4 stairs, but if it's longer, it's very dangerous. Once I nearly fell backwards. So I've got a stair chair now. So if it's few steps, it's fine. So I don't know how, Maya, you do 3 flights of stairs. It's amazing, So just be careful. That's all I can say. Thank you. And thank you really much for this panel and NDF, because I don't have any other source. And Facebook is what I found this. And I'm really, really grateful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Bina, and thanks. I'm glad that helps. One of the things I find, especially in lockdown, is we all get a little bit of lockdown. I call it lockdown bomb. My wheelchairs had to be made slightly larger, slightly wider. And with what exercise places being closed over the period of lockdown, does anyone want to, give us some ideas of what they do to stay healthy physically?
I have a few points, very little, but very important things to note that it's wiser to cut off the fats, and fats are really harmful because we are unable to digest everything properly due to the restrictive movements, and little exercise. So I would really suggest to cut off the fats and the sugars at the very first, and no sodas.
I was wondering, sorry, I'm just backing up a little bit. How many days a week does everyone work out, if you do work out? And also, I have a question about the vaccine. I haven't got my vaccine because I've read on the GNE support group on Facebook that some people have had the vaccine and they become quite weaker. And I definitely don't want that. So
I don't mind answering that question.
Okay.
I was gonna just going back because there was, sorry, Bellini, sorry to interrupt you. There was two
That's
questions,
okay.
and I know you didn't get an opportunity to answer the other one around well-being. That you had something. I wanted you to tell everyone about your trainer situation, your exercise equipment, and then I think if you want to just quickly touch on the vaccine, and then I'm going to take it over to Suleiman. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's completely
Brilliant.
fine. So basically, before I was diagnosed, I think actually as I was diagnosed, I purchased myself a cross trainer, and I thought it would be good getting a cross trainer because it works every part of your body. Now, unfortunately, since being diagnosed, it's very difficult for me, and I live by myself, to get up on the cross trainer by myself. So I contacted a charity called REMAP, and a retired engineer. He basically created this amazing adaptation for me to be able to get on the cross trainer independently. Now it's going to take some time for me to be able to do it confidently, independently, but I'm getting some help with people that are going to be around me whilst I do it for the first couple of times. But that's just things. So in terms of my exercise and having a disability, then we can, there are ways of getting your equipment adapted to help you. Yeah, so I can confidently get on and off, hopefully in time, my cross trainer independently without having to rely on somebody to be there with me, because it's all safe, it's all designed in a certain way. And in terms, Anna, of getting the injections for COVID, I'm doubly vaccinated with Pfizer. And what I have learned through talking to many different people with our condition, without our condition, literally people have taken different vaccines, and it's affected people differently. So don't feel like if you get the vaccine, you're going to react the same way as what you've read about. We're all different. You'll react differently. I feel like I personally reacted more badly to my first one than I did my second one. And then I've heard people that they have felt like they've had COVID, that they can't, the maximum is a week that you'll feel bad. But then I'm only speaking from my own experience. Okay. Everybody is different.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks, Philly.
I would like to share my experience on Sinopharm because I got a different vaccine. And yeah, I felt the same, that first one was difficult, first dose, but second dose was a little easier on me. And I feel what my thoughts are that even if I feel weaker a little, I think it's better to be much weaker than getting affected by the COVID, because COVID really turns you weak. And I think perhaps more weaker than getting a vaccine.
Yes.
And you feel better later. I mean, initially you feel weak, but I feel that I'm the same now. I don't feel any different.
Thanks, Sabeen. Thanks, Ambelini. Suleiman, would you like to add anything here about the COVID vaccinations, please?
Yes, of course. We have a chronic disease and our bodies are more open to infections. To protect ourselves, sometimes masks and social distances won't be enough. And when we face with the COVID-19 virus, if we have antibodies in our blood, they will protect us from bigger problems which COVID brings. And we may get over the disease easily. Which vaccine is better? I think the vaccine which we can reach earlier is better. For example, as January in my country, we didn't have BioNTech. I got the Chinese one, Sinovac, and after 2 months in a blood test, I saw that I had enough antibodies. So it means also the Chinese vaccine worked. And in support group, there was a questionnaire, as Anna told, about vaccines. And as I saw, nearly 80% of our patients got BioNTech without any serious side effect. And if you have a chance to choose BioNTech, I think it can be a good choice. For example, as January, I got 2 Chinese vaccines, and later at July, I got 1 BioNTech, and I really didn't have any important side effects.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mona, I
Thank
want to add something about exercise.
Yeah.
When we have a patient day in Israel, Professor Orgov was talking about exercise, and his recommendation was to do exercise at least 3 times a week, but you have to listen to your body, because sometimes after half an hour you are exhausted and you can do anything, and sometimes you can do exercise for 1 hour. So Anna, for your question, you have to listen to your body. You want to be stronger, but you don't want to be very tired. So when you feel that you are very, very tired, you have to stop. And these also recommend to do a little bit aerobic. So like a cross trainer will be great, swimming will be great. I am doing Pilates and it's working very good for me. You just have to be sure that you are working on your muscles, but not too hard.
Okay.
Thank you. That's brilliant advice, Maya. Really appreciate that. Thank you. I just want to say that these are the key takeaways from today's event. Really, remember that as patients, we can support one another. So support is available. I want you to remember that no questions are a taboo. It's okay to talk about sensitive issues. In fact, let's try and normalize them. Also that all questions are relevant. There will always be somebody sitting in silence, struggling. So your query might even help someone else. So always ask. And lastly, patients are key in driving a treatment forward. We can't rely, and we mustn't rely solely on researchers and clinicians. Your voice and active participation are required to ensure that our needs are included in this journey. So for the last slide, we have just outlined the details of where you can get the contact details for myself and the panel members. And these will be sent out to everybody who registered today. Thank you for being involved today. I am now going to hand over to my colleague, Nancy. Thank you.
I really just want to thank you all for giving so much to the event. And I want to say a special thank you to Tara Vogel, who works tirelessly as one of our 2 patient advocacy program managers. For all of her work behind the scenes, this event would not have happened or come together as it did without her leadership. Tara, I know you have a few words to say before we wrap up, and then I'll just come back and thank everyone when you're done.
Sure. I want to express my sincere gratitude to every member of this panel. When I first reached out to you to volunteer your time for this panel, each one of you said yes without any hesitation. And you wholeheartedly embraced the idea of the first ever international patient panel. I was really touched. I'm very grateful that you took valuable time off from your busy schedule to spend many hours preparing in the pre-planning stages. I know there was Shabbat happening and people were on their summer vacation, and they still took the time to meet with us. Your extraordinary attention and invaluable insight offered during the pre-planning sessions culminated in today's brilliant presentation. I know that this has been an enlightening and informative session for all our GNEM patients, as well as the rare disease communities. So thank you, Maya, Mona, Roberta, Sabeen, Sean, Suleiman, and lastly, but not least, Valini. And let's do this again. Nancy?
I want to add my thanks to the panel, of course, and to all of you for joining us today. This recording will live along with all of our past speaker events on our virtual learning library, which you can access through our website, curegnm.org. I want to mention for any of you who haven't joined before, we do have once a month, we have a patient huddle, which is something like this, but much smaller, more intimate group where you can bring your own questions and comments. That huddle, August huddle, will be this Sunday. There's registration available on our website if you're interested in that. And lastly, we hope you'll join us again here next week when holistic coach and preventative health specialist Sogol Ash will be presenting Mind and Metabolism, learning to make your brain and your food work for you. I don't know if any of you heard her last year, but I know that I personally learned a lot from her, and I'm really looking forward to that presentation. So thank you all for giving us some of your day or evening, and we look forward to seeing you here again sometime soon.